So thank you for that introduction. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about custom listing pages and how they may be effective for you, and it's completely data-driven as to if they will be effective for you. But before I do that, because I never assume people know who I am, I've been in the game space for about 7 years now, and I have worked with helping developers find funding for their games. I've worked in helping monetization. I've helped in pitching titles, play testing, because who doesn't play test? And I also do team building because I love my team, so happy with what I do. And Lab Cave, we are based in Madrid in Spain. The whole company is based there. We are about 50 people in the office, and we are part of the Sun Media Group. The team itself has been around for almost 7 years, and they've launched a lot of very small games. As you can see, 700 small apps there. And the main focus of the company is publishing for mobile titles, for ad mediation, and then also for App Store optimization. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a specific aspect of App Store optimization. So first, ASO. So just for those of you really quickly who may not be familiar with App Store optimization, it's a combination of keyword research, which we would call your metadata, external campaigns, and conversion rate optimization. So those all come together to create a really strong store listing page for you that will attract users. It's just a combination there. And what we're going to speak about today has to do with your conversion rate optimization. So that did not come out as big as I'd hoped. But really quickly, custom listing pages. So different countries can react differently, and not everybody is living within a country and has that language chosen. So you want to be really careful when doing any of your testing, because you may be talking to an audience that you don't realize you're talking to. It can be really targeted to be making sure that you're getting to the user you want. So this is an example showing why you might want to try this out. This is on a title. And you can see that English UK has almost 3,000 users for this, but only 185 of them are based in the UK. So if you're doing your A/B testing completely within the UK and you're doing all of your artwork completely within the UK, you are missing a huge segment of your user base that is finding your game on their own. So you're just not getting the data that you're looking for. It's not always good to do this. This is definitely something that you'd want to dive into here. You can see the first example is similar to what we saw before, and the second example, they line up just about exactly. So no need to jump into doing a custom listing page if you're that close, but sometimes you will find in your data that you have something closer to the top section. So I'm going to do a quick case study to run you through. My clock's not going, so I have no idea how long I'm allowed to speak for. Sorry. Okay, great. So I'm just going to run you through a quick case study for a small title that Lab Cave has put out called Tooth Fairy Horse. It is a game for young girls about taking care of a horse for your princess Tooth Fairy. That's not important. I just wanted you to know that because you'll notice in some stuff. So, as I said before, when you think about a country, you think about the language of that country. So, we think about the UK, we think about the English language UK, and that's going to be within this territory. But for this game, what we found was actually only 1% of our users were based in the UK. So, what are we doing? What are we testing? Why are we focusing here? What we found is actually the largest portion for this game are based in India. And we were not paying attention to the specific market. We were just saying testing within the UK and applying. So our conversion rate team decided, let's check this out. What would happen if we just focused a specific custom listing page within India? And we found the icon results were different than what we had had. So you can see the current icon in the corner here that had won when we just did the testing within the UK. But when you open it a little bit wider to other countries that have a large GB English, you can see that most of the people are not located in the UK and have different opinions about what they like and what resonates in terms of artwork. So one country does not necessarily mean one location. So really quickly here, you can see the breakdown within India. So our team decided, what if we tested a custom page for each of them for A/B testing? What would happen? What would happen here if we decided to see what icons really met with people? And they came up with seeing a common thread throughout India, which was not what we got from the UK. So what the team realized doing this is that they were focusing completely wrong on how they wanted to get the results. And they had the potential of getting a lot of additional users by really focusing on where the language was coming from and what the country the language was focusing in. So a lot of different thoughts. And for me, it's really interesting here is that the icon chosen is the same, and yet not on par with what you're getting in the UK. So just an interesting data point here and an interesting way to move forward with what Google allows. So the results of this for us here, so you can see that we applied the results and we had a great result in India, but it didn't apply correctly in the UK. Our original thought was, where are most of the users? Let's just apply that icon for the whole language, but that was also incorrect. And that was because we would see short-term growth because you're attracting the users within India, but then you're forgetting that your UK users are responding differently. So again, custom listing pages would allow you to have a custom page within the UK language in India. So you are making sure to apply the right artwork, the right metadata to the people who you are trying to talk to in India, and then have a separate listing page within the UK for trying to get to the users that are based here. And that is my very quick case study. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, I love it.
Just a quick question about icons, because if you are talking about Google, still on the dev side there will be one icon per app with it. So is there any confusion? The person downloads the app with one icon, seeing it on list, and then gets it on app or on your device installed with different icons?
So you can have a different icon for each country in Google Play. Yeah.
On the device.
On the device, it should come up with that icon as well, but it really shouldn't mess up with the user, because what you're doing here is you're trying to attract the right user. Yes?
They were downloading the app with one icon and ended up having on the device physically installed an app with a master icon.
We haven't had that as an issue. We haven't seen a large amount of uninstalls, so for us we think that that's probably okay. It's probably along the same lines of if you download a game and all of a sudden it changes to a seasonal icon, like you know it's still the game, it's still getting the same information, it'll still have the same name on there, but in terms of CRO, you're just attracting the user that you want. So it hasn't caused confusion that we've seen yet, but if we have a large uninstall, obviously this wouldn't be there, but I have a feeling Google has designed it so that you can have the custom page and get the custom icon.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions?
Yeah, one right here.
Could you clarify for us, what are the options on Google Play Store in terms of country listing? So you can change it per country, but there's also language.
Yes.
So can you only change it per country? Can you specify per language per country?
You can. And then, so I am originally from California, and I live in Spain. So I'm in a country that English is not a huge language spoken. And so you can, in theory, because you know that my device is set up in US English, that within Spain you could set up a custom listing page to talk to all of the expats within Spain who have the same setup on their phone. So that's the whole point of why you'd want to try out a custom listing page, is because I am not within the US, so I'm kind of going to be throwing off some of their data. But I'm in a country where if you worked on the store listing page just for there, you're not going to be getting me as a user.
And that's the same as a user. Do you see an app, a Play Store that's specifically for Spanish or American-speaking people in Spain? So,
I would if you set up a custom listing page for it, but currently what I see is the US store.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so people in India, are they all seeing one store, for example? Or?
I'm not sure. I assume that they are seeing the same store, based on the location, based on what they're set up with, but I'm not quite sure.
We have another question here.
Yeah, so with the Google, are you running the actual icons on a product page, or are you using their A/B testing and then determining?
Yeah, we're using their A/B testing tool. For us, the tool is so powerful, and we're able to test on such a, we never test globally because you're just not going to get the right results, but especially when you're looking at a custom listing page, you want to really zero in on what you're trying to test on. So through the A/B testing allowed within Google Play Store, you're able to get results.
And then how many icons do you test at the same time? Do you do two? How do you isolate that?
Normally we would have one, and then we would test 3 against it for variation, and then probably not run more than 4 tests at a time, but definitely not all within the same country either, because then it would throw off the results. So you want to do 1 test per country, and then you can run depending on what you're trying to focus on.
Just a quick question. Was this organic installs or UI driven?
These were organic. Yeah, we didn't. This is a game we test on, so we never take anything to our clients that we haven't actively tested on our own titles. So for us, this was completely organic driven because we wanted to see what the user base was going to respond to. And when you add UA in there, it's really great for growing your users, but it doesn't give you the same data back.
Hi. Once you've done this testing on Android, obviously you apply it on Android, but what does it tell you in terms of what to do for iOS?
Well, as far as I know, you can't do custom listing pages on iOS right now, so you would have to pick the icon that you would want to go for the specific country. So you just don't have the same flexibility. So in terms of what you would do for iOS, for me it would be you'd have to go look at the data and see what the results were specifically. I can't just give you one answer. It's going to depend on how big the disparity is between the language and the country and where people are located, because while you may see a drop in the UK for this game, if it's only resonating with 1% of people there, it may make more sense for you to put an icon up that resonates with more users. It just, again, is data-driven there. And this definitely is not something that will make sense for every company. You may find that most of your titles are have a pretty equal share. It's just this specific one was nice for a case study. Anyone else? Awesome. Well, thank you for all your time. I appreciate you listening to me.